23 degrees sideways. We're going to do another car video. I think it's a little louder this time because we are in a convertible with the top up. And we're also doing stupid amounts of speed right now. We will be slowing down. Let me talk a little bit more about Robert Anson HEINLEIN. HEINLEIN. This one is actually a video that I'm doing specifically for Matt Christiansen. Matt Christiansen Media. He's got a YouTube channel. You know, you need to go visit him if you haven't, because of course he's only about 90,000 times more popular than I am. Maybe 85,000 times. Anyway, I have 25 subscribers, so he's a lot bigger. But he has never read nor heard of Robert HEINLEIN prior to a show he did last week. There was a comment that came in with a HEINLEIN quote about how the biggest duty that a person has, the definition of civic virtue, is going beyond your family, or at most your tribe, and being able to have a moral responsibility for your culture, for your nation, for your state, whatever. And it's a very interesting quote, and Matt wasn't quite sure of the context. It was pretty obvious. You know, what Robert HEINLEIN was talking about was not instead of taking care of your family, because Matt's response was, if everyone just took care of their family, the country would be in fantastic shape. And okay, so Matt, speaking directly to you, yes and no. I have traveled extensively in the Middle East. I've been stationed out in the wilds, and I've been involved with cultures off and on, and there's something called amoral familialism, which is useful to look up to understand why just caring for your family does not make your culture a better place. There's an old saying that is attributed to Middle Eastern folk that is, me against my brother, me and my brother against my cousins, me, my brother, and my cousins against everyone else. And that's kind of almost a definition of amoral familialism, except it's not really me against my brother. It's more me, my brother, and my cousins at most, and fuck everybody else. So that's what I really wanted to talk about for a moment, was that this idea that just taking care of your family makes the world a better place, it's not invalid. The thing that makes Western culture, civilization, into civilization is that exists within a context, a larger construct. Okay? HEINLEIN's not talking about not taking care of your family. He absolutely believes that you should take care of yourself, be ready to face your day, take care of your family, be ready to face the seasons. But for him, HEINLEIN also said in one of his letters that if he was not religious, but if he had a religion, it would be patriotism. That sense of duty to your culture, to your civilization, to your nation. And he really placed a lot of value on patriotism. Now, HEINLEIN is the patron saint of certain libertarians, which is why I'm really surprised that Matt Christiansen has not heard of him before. You know, Tanstaffel, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, is literally a HEINLEInism. And it's become a hallmark of libertarianism. The moon is a harsh mistress is often considered to be something of a libertarian Bible. It's the foundational piece of libertarian science fiction in essence. Much like Starship Troopers is the foundational novel that for the entire genre of military SF. Basically, Matt, all of those video games you play owe their very existence to a book called Starship Troopers. However, Starship Troopers is primarily a book of political philosophy. I challenge you to read it. And if you have ever seen the movie, I doubly, triply challenge you to read the book, because the book is the exact opposite of what that Marxist idiot who made the movie tried to portray. It's interesting that for Marxists, patriotism is considered fascism. And that's not really true. Civic nationalism. Okay, so in basic terms, your first duty is to yourself. Biosurvival, survival, to eat, to drink, to survive, to not get killed. This is the basic biological imperative. There is what the Scientologists would call this, I think, third dynamic. Okay, and that's your sexual partners, your mate, your family. Okay, that is your next level of morality, survival for your family. And then beyond that is civitas. You can extend family to tribe because they're all related. It's the same thing. It's just a little messier. But the next level is civitas. Being a citizen. The duties of patriotism, the responsibilities and the glories of patriotism. In sociological terms, there's something called circles. How big is your circle? And sociological circles grow with trust. And in an amoral familialist culture, like you have in many parts of the Middle East or Africa, that circle never expands beyond your family. You never actually trust someone beyond your family. So if you have a non-assimilated immigrant family next to you and they come from an amoral familialist culture, you may want to consider whether or not you want to loan them your tools, because you might not get them back, because they don't owe you them back, because you're not part of the family. Civitas, the citizenry. And in America, we have this exceptionally cool idea of civic nationalism, which a lot of people on the left like to demean right now. But I want you to really think about that, the idea of civic nationalism. Your nationalism is based on membership in the civitas, membership in the nation, not color of skin, not ethnicity, not religion, not what clothes you wear, but literally your membership in America. It's awesome. Civic nationalism was the thing that made us really, really kick ass. All right? All you have to do is show up, sit at the table, and be an American. And you have that seat at the table. Bring your spaghetti, bring your tacos, whatever. We're always open for some new food in the American barbecue. Everything's going to be an influence, but it's fundamentally an American table. And if you want to sit at it, you just have to be American. But anyone can become American. So back to Heinlein for a moment, because that's what this is about. What Heinlein was saying in that quote from the other week wasn't that taking care of your family is not important or less important, but that in terms of morality, there is a higher morality that you can achieve in taking care of your civilization, your civitas, your state, whatever you want to call it, your society. Libertarians really hate the idea of a state, but there you have it. I'm going to be a patriotic imperialist and say, screw it. It's the nation. Civic nationalism is where it's at. And that is what Heinlein was trying to get at in the quote that was presented to you in the show last week. A couple books you should probably really read. One is out of date, but still very relevant. It's called Expanded Universe, just because it's got actual Heinlein in it. Remember that Heinlein is one of those people who everyone likes to take the quotes of his characters and say that is what Heinlein believed, but only the quotes that they want. They structure their belief around what they want. So Heinlein had to believe what they believe. Expanded Universe is actually Heinlein's words, his essays, and it's really fantastic. Starship Troopers is probably one of the most important political science books written in the 20th century. You should absolutely read it. And, that's it. There's plenty of other stuff beyond that. That's all I got for you. Have a good one. Stay sideways.